But once COVID hit and all of those restaurants and businesses had to shut down, the rats had to move because they still needed to find food and need to figure out what was going on. So now we're starting to see them at people's houses. They're getting, deep into rural areas. So I enjoy rats because you're dealing with a wild animal and they're very intelligent on how they will evade your traps. We have photos and videos of rats using their tail to set off traps so they can get the bait. They're just very smart with what they do. So that is something that we're having a big push for in our area. And it's entertaining for me.
This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team. What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it. This episode is brought to you by Blue Collar Business Advisors. If you're running an HVAC, plumbing, electrical, or landscaping, or any other type of home service business and wondering where all the money is going despite growing your revenue, you need to talk to Paul Maskill. Paul has scaled and sold multiple blue-collar businesses and now helps business owners improve cash flow, profitability, and financial clarity through outsourced CFO services. His clients gain a better understanding of their numbers, build predictable profits, and create a business that supports the life they actually want. One of the things I appreciate most about Paul is he's not just a finance guy. He's been in the trenches as an owner. He understands the challenges of running blue-collar businesses because he's done it himself. If you're doing a few $1 million a year in revenue and want to stop guessing at your numbers and start building real wealth, head over to bluecollaradvisors.com. That's thebluecollaradvisors.com and schedule a discovery call with Paul and his team. Blue Collar Business Advisors, helping blue-collar business owners build financially healthy companies and achieve permanent profitability. This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Adam. Say your last name for me.
Carace.
I'm joined by Adam Carace, and I would have butchered that. So I'm so glad he chimed in. He is the owner of Pest End. He is in New Hampshire, and I don't know a lot of people in New Hampshire. I'm excited to talk to you, man. And dude, I'm excited to pick your brain. You're balling. You guys are doing amazing. So tell us about the business, how you guys got started. Tell us, a little bit of the story.
Yeah, so our company actually started in 1977 with a person that was not related to us at all. In 1986, my dad was in real estate. He had someone approach him to sell a multifamily property. He listed it for them, sold it. Once that went through, that person said, do you know anyone who sells commercial? So, well, what do you have? And he said, well, I have a pest control business. And my dad said, I'll buy it, and took the money he made from the 3 family that he sold and bought the business. At the time, it was doing about $114,000 a year. The person trained my dad for about 2 weeks and then said, good luck. My dad knew nothing about pest control, had never been in it, came home to my mom and said, so I bought a pest control company today. and my mom told him he was insane. But they figured it out, and through some grit and sheer will, started to grow the business. And about right after the end of 2020, myself, my sister, and my wife bought it from my parents. So now I own it equally with my wife and my sister, who I met my wife in high school, and she's been working at the business ever since. So she's been involved for over 20 years. And yeah, it's been a fun ride. My parents built a really strong mom and pop type business. And then when I took it over with my sister and my wife, we really wanted to expand the business and cover more territory and be able to play a little bit with the bigger companies out there. So that's what we've been doing over the last 6 years now.
Well, tell us about that because a lot of the pest control guys I talk to, Adam, are in the like $3 to $5 million range. I mean, you guys are in the double digits here, and your run rate is insane. So what do you feel like you're doing differently?
Yeah, so when we bought the business from my parents, we were doing about 5 million. So we went from 5 million to at the end of 2025, we were just under 15. So we've tripled the business in the last 5 years. And a lot of it was just putting some good processes in place, building out the right team. But in our area, and I think a lot of people are going through this right now, there's been a ton of mergers and acquisitions. So you've had a couple of private equity and national companies that have bought a lot of our competition. So it's really helped us because there are companies and customers who just want the local people. So we went from a company pretty much just servicing Massachusetts and New Hampshire to servicing all of New England and also New York. And that has allowed us to become really a regional player while still being family owned. And that's helped spark a lot of that growth. So we've done two small acquisitions, but other than that, it's all been organic growth. We don't do door to door. We have an outside commercial sales team, but everything else is just word of mouth and reputation that we've built over the last almost 50 years.
You're doing over 10 million with word of mouth. Are you paying for ads? Is there anything where you're like, targeting people, strangers on the internet to become clients?
We are, but our marketing spend is usually about 5% of our revenue, which is in our industry, it's relatively low. So
Yeah.
we're doing it more so in areas that we want to grow. But a
Yeah.
good problem to have is not being able to keep up with the demand. We've been growing at about 20% year over year, which we're happy
Yeah.
with. We don't want to go too much more than that because the wheels can fall off if you can't keep up with it. So we think it's a really healthy growth, and we're able to do most of that just off of people seeing our trucks and growing from, the neighbor sees it and asks what's going on. Honestly, Facebook community pages have been huge for us with recommendations, and you don't pay for those, so that's nice. So a lot of that type of advertising and marketing is what's helped us, as well as I said, those acquisitions that have come through, which now people are just trying to find the local company that can handle their commercial account that has 200 locations throughout New England.
Yeah. So not necessarily poo-pooing on those PE owned things, but I've heard this a lot, so I kind of want to double click on it. Is it just that they don't care about the customer? Is it just that it's just a machine and people can sense that? Like, talk to me about like what your clients say when you work with them versus one of the PE ones.
So I don't know if it's necessarily private equity or if it's some of the larger national competitors that we have. It's just the change. When someone comes in and buys the business right off the bat, at least in our industry, a lot of the talent leaves. So your regular technician is no longer there. They're changing their processes. Again, they go in and they have to make money, so they make changes to recoup their money, and those changes really are felt by all of the
Mm,
customers. And that's what we're hearing a lot of. They're not getting the same notification. They have a different technician every single time that they have a service performed. When they call the
mm,
office, they can't get through to anyone. So that's what's really helpful. And then on the commercial side, when we have a large account, they want to know I can call and talk to someone. So I'm still here. Even if I'm away, my sister's here or my wife is here. And then we have managers as well. But it's really hard to get in touch with the actual owner of a PE company or, one of the large national chains.
it's interesting. It's all very interesting to me. And I only had my first pest control guy on maybe 3 weeks ago. And I think it was when I became friends with Jonas on Facebook, Olson. All of a sudden, all my suggested friends are pest control guys. And so now I'm I feel like I'm knee deep in pest control. Um, one of my favorite questions I like to ask guys across the country. So the other day, the guy that I talked to was in Utah, and I was like, "What's the interesting pest you guys deal with in Utah?" He was like, "Box elders." So, what is something that you guys deal with in New Hampshire that maybe the rest of the country might not necessarily be familiar with?
I don't know that we have like a specific pest. Like we have box elders too, but I would say that what we're dealing with that's most interesting right now is rats. Rats used to be a city thing. You'd get them in Boston, you'd get them in New York City, you'd get them in those areas. But once COVID hit and all of those restaurants and businesses had to shut down, the rats had to move because they still needed to find food and need to figure out what was going on. So now we're starting to see them at people's houses. They're getting, deep into rural areas. It's not just the commercial setting anymore. Prior to COVID, someone would call you and say, "Oh, I have rats in my house," and you would know it's just mice, and you would go and take care of it. Now it's actually rats, and they can do some pretty big damage, and they're smart. So I enjoy rats because you're dealing with a wild animal, and they're very intelligent on how they will evade your traps. We have photos and videos of rats using their tail to set off traps so they can get the bait. They're just very smart with what they do. So that is something that we're having a big push for in our area, and it's entertaining for me.
Those sneaky bastards. It's interesting to me. I've had mice problems in one of my houses. And dude, one of the things I learned is like, you have one, you actually have 20. Like you never have just one. And we would be, my wife and I, watching Netflix at night. And all of a sudden she would freak out. I'm like, what? She's like, it just ran across the floor. It's like, oh my gosh. And so I probably dealt with them in the most inhumane way possible. I was just glue trapping them and putting them outside. But yeah, it's those buggers are sneaky. Mice and rats, I would imagine too, are probably worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, if they're outside, that's fine. Let them live outside. But once they make their way in, they're constantly gnawing on stuff, constantly going to the bathroom, a lot of health risks. So you really don't want them in there.
Yeah. Two questions. What's going really well in your business right now? And what are some challenges you guys are facing?
What's going really well is our sales team. They really have figured out the way to not be cutthroat. A lot of times in sales, it's just about numbers, and that is true. They obviously need to hit their numbers, but they work well as a team. They work well with our technicians, and I think showing that care comes across to the new customers. So they've really been able to ramp up our recurring revenue, which is a huge thing in our business. I think in all businesses, which has been great. So that's been working really, really well for us over the last couple of years, which has helped the growth. I think something that's not working well is really just on the operational side and more so inside operations. We've gone through a couple of different managers, just trying to figure out how to make it work. When you're answering the phone for pest control, you need to know so many things about so many different bugs and so many different programs. And people, oh, I hear this weird noise. What is it? So being able to figure out what that weird noise is. And I was talking to Angela before this started, and she mentioned she was from the Philippines, and I told her we have 12 people from the Philippines that work for us. And that's been great to be an added resource to our state.
Let me get your next placement, by the way. I'd love to earn that business from you. That's something that we do. But dude, I'm definitely gonna pick your brain about this now. You shouldn't have told me that, because I'm always trying to get blue collar guys to hire people from the Philippines. It's an absolute cheat code. Like,
Absolutely.
tell me what they're all doing for you.
And I will tell you, from the pest control industry, it's been something that's taken off.
For sure.
We really didn't have VAs 10 years ago, even 6 years ago. Now it's kind of gone like wildfire. So we started with our first one doing accounts receivable, just updating methods of payment, or, sending emails out that people still owed us money. And then we started getting her on the phone a little bit. Then we had someone who, our outside sales team would sell something, the contract would get sent in, they would do data input, create the programs, that type of stuff. Now we have them pretty much doing everything. We have them in our customer service team. We have them doing inside sales. We have them doing data input. So they really are in every single one of our departments on the inside team, which has allowed us to continue to grow while not stifling our margins by having to bring people in. The reality is people working in the office at this point are looking for almost double of what we were paying 7 years ago. And it's been difficult to try and make that work with our numbers. And people are only willing to pay so much for pest control. If you tell someone it's going to cost you $3,000 to get rid of your mice, at some point they're going to just try and do what you do and get rid of it themselves. So keeping that in line and allowing to have some extra help for our team through the VAs has been awesome for us.
Yeah, yeah, I love that, man. It's funny to me, the blue collar guys. I'm like, dude, it starts with an executive assistant, in my opinion. Like, if you do not have someone in your emails, someone putting out fires for you, and I own an AI agency, and AI cannot do that. You know, AI can manage your emails, but it cannot put out fires for you. It can't block and tackle for you. And I think it starts there. But yeah, dude, it's a top notch cheat code. And then I think also implementing AI in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a AI bookkeeping agent or AI receptionist or something like that. Yeah, yeah. So biggest challenge is operations. And so the sales team is going really well. What are some, I know that that's something that we talk about a lot on this show. Like, what are some ways you found to not only get good sales guys, but to incentivize them?
How do you incentivize salespeople? Money. So giving a good comp plan, running competitions. Again, they do have a very friendly relationship with each other, the whole team. So we run a lot of competitions to just get them, to go at each other, which is great, and they really enjoy that. So that incentivizes them, and it's not always money. It's if you hit certain things. We've done competitions where maybe F1 racing is something we'll do. We'll take them out. We'll go deep sea fishing. We'll do different activities during the workday, so they'll still get paid and all that type of stuff. And it's just a way to get them together. And it's things they may not do on their own. So competitions have been huge to keep that going, and more so not just hey hit your numbers, but we want to go and get hotels this month. So we'll give them specific types of accounts that we want them to go and pick up and make it a competition based off of that too. And that's then shown, okay, you can get hotels. This is what you had to do because you forced yourself. Now you know how to do it moving forward. So that's really worked well for us. In terms of finding them, we've done that in a couple of different ways. We've taken some salespeople from other pest control companies, but we have three of our salespeople were managers, operational managers in our company that we transitioned over. And that has worked out really well because they already had the knowledge. And we've recently started bringing in some people from outside of the industry. And what works for us is we are recession proof. We're at 12 months a year. It's very easy to see that you can continuously sell. Everyone's a customer. When you're going down the street, not only is every commercial site a customer, but usually if they're a manager or an owner of a business, they also have a house. So you can get 2 for 1 on that. We have between wildlife, mosquito and tick, general pest control. So we have so many different layers that you can add on. There's a lot of opportunity that they can see, which is nice for them.
Let's talk about ticks for a second. So I'm from Connecticut originally. I would think that's something you see more of than we do here in Colorado. And then I hear in like Long Island, or maybe it is, I can't remember if there's like parts of Long Island now that have a certain type of food in their restaurants because so many people are bitten by a certain kind of tick that, they can't eat meat anymore, any sort of animal products. Do you guys have that up there?
Yeah, so ticks are huge around us. Obviously Lyme disease came from Lyme, Connecticut with the deer tick, the black-legged tick. It's a really bad problem around us. So that's something that really took off. Mosquito control, yes, but ticks even more so. People want to protect their kids, their pets. So I was actually out this morning doing some tick treatments myself, getting some things ready for the season. But it's something that's exploded in our industry, and the ticks are only getting worse. Lyme disease is a major issue around us. And what you brought up, which is from the Lone Star tick. So that tick is from Texas. So that's called the Lone Star tick. And it has migrated its way because of climate change and all that type of stuff. So it's now up in our area. And yeah, it has one of the viruses it can transmit makes you allergic to protein. So you can't eat any types of meat. And they don't know how long it lasts. It might be a couple of months. It might be a couple of years. But anytime you eat protein, you get very sick. So I don't know about you, but I like my steak. So that would be a horrible thing for me.
I might want to rather give a finger or a toe than not be able to eat meat or drink milk. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
How are you guys integrating AI into your business?
So this has been an interesting one. So my wife within our industry is actually, like we always joke, the AI expert. So she's spoken across the country about AI. She's done national talks about it. our industry, I don't want to say was slow to get to it, but again, we're blue collar, we're out treating. So it's, oh, how can it really help our business? It's unbelievable what it can do. And all of the platforms are different. So right now we do have an AI phone agent that takes overflow and takes calls after hours. So it will collect all the data. It's been great.
What's the out of curiosity, because I hear it's so hit or miss, and I've done some AI receptionist installs. We've done Rosie, Vapi. There's like literally a million of them. What's the one that you guys use, and what have been some pros and cons?
So we use Avoca,
Yeah.
and Avoca was one that it was not in our space, and then they brought on a rep from a pest control distributor, and so he brought it right into our space, and a lot of people have jumped on. I think the great part is, it's upfront when they answer. It says this is an AI agent, but even with that, we have customers that call back and ask for the AI agent because it sounds so lifelike, and they have great conversations with them and want that person to take care of them. So I think the pro of it has been we're not losing calls. We're always there answering day or night. That it takes the whole transcription and emails it depending on what the call was about. It can delineate whether it's customer service or inside sales. So it's done a lot of great things that way. The downside that we have right now is integrating it with our sales platform. Because in theory, if it can collect the data, we should be able to then also just be able to have it sell. And that's the one thing we haven't been able to get to happen yet. They have that as an option. It's just not where it needs to be.
Mm, I like it. What's one thing that gets you fired up we haven't talked about?
Right now, honestly, back to AI. I love Claude. Claude is been a game changer
Claude's
for me.
awesome, dude. It's fire.
Again, blue collar guy, grew up in this industry, didn't know a ton of tech stuff. What I'm able to build out with just some prompts. We're using it right now on routing. So routing is always, I feel like, a downfall for a lot of people. No one really routes that well. But what Claude has been able to do on rebuilding our schedules, giving us insights, giving us intelligence reports on what is taking too long or not working, where we need to price increase. That has been something that's really got me excited. Over the
Hmm.
last probably about 2 months, I've really gotten into Claude and what it can do because I think it can transform a lot of businesses, similar to what VAs were doing. And I'm interested to see if AI becomes so good that unfortunately VAs don't end up being used as often as they currently are.
I mean, it's inevitable. I think things are going to get replaced, and the four like here's what I've hired VAs high and low for all sorts of roles. The $4 to $5 an hour VA, you just give a to-do list. Yeah, I think that's going away. I still think, and where we hang our hats is the executive assistant that thinks ahead for you, that kicks ass for you, puts out fires for you. Like that's you. AI can't block and tackle for you. It doesn't have consciousness. Um, and but the way I see it, at least for now, is it's leveraging my VAs. It's leveraging their capacity. So if I get a really, really good VA and she's a baller, I can have 4 or 5 VAs in one. And like what company owner wouldn't want to turn their best sales guy into 5 sales guys, right?
Absolutely.
And you can do that now, right? With
Or you
AI
can
and
take your
VAs and everything.
$4 VA and now she or he is working like a $12 VA
There
because
you
they
go.
just have that information. And I think
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, even with us too. It's not necessarily taking any jobs away, at least at this point. It's just helping them be more effective. It's helping them, make up for gaps of lack of knowledge because you can ask it questions and it
yeah,
will walk you through the whole process
yeah.
on what to do. So I think that's been huge for us. We're working on with a CRM or some of the CRMs that we use that are building AI right into it. So as we're treating someone's house, we're just talking and it's building out forms and it's getting things ready for us. So I think there's a lot to come, and a lot has already changed. But it's
Yeah,
it's been really cool to see how much has even changed in the last 2 years, and to just
totally.
think what it can be in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The opportunity, I think, is an implementation. Like with my AI agency, we got our asses kicked when we started to do like really heavy custom automation for people because it took 4 to 6 months. And by the time we got to the end of it, it was already outdated,
Right.
So like, but there will always be a huge gap between the user and the technology. So I think the people that are coming into this space and they're just literally helping people use the AI receptionist. You can't imagine that, like, the brain trash and the pushback I get on an AI receptionist. And I'm like, bro, literally it's just taking calls when you can't. That's all we're talking about. Of course we want to talk to a human being, but like, what about at 3 a.m.? Do you really want to take that call?
Correct.
So yeah.
And at the same time, if it is 3 a.m. and you don't want to take the call, but what if it's a true emergency and you can kind of figure
Yeah.
that out? Now you're being notified when something is happening.
Yep.
So I think that's great. And a lot of like these after hours answering services, they're pricey. So, you put in some of these and now you're getting just as good, if not better, of a response, and you're saving a lot of money for your business too. And with how everything's so expensive in today's world, when you can save money anywhere, I think that's huge to help with your margins.
Good word, man. Well, this is fun. This is no wonder you guys are growing so fast. You're latching on to all the things, and I think that the people that are doing that are getting ahead in this space, and that's clear to me from today's episode. What if people wanted to learn more about you, Adam? Where can they go?
So our website is www.pestendinc.com. So they can check us out there. We're on Facebook. If you search Pest End or my name, you'll see a bunch of different things come up because we're involved in our national industry, our state association. So there's a lot of information out there that you can find out. I think once you and anyone learns more about our industry, sometimes we're portrayed as just like the dumb bug guys in Hollywood. It's different. It is different. We really do think of what we're doing, and it's very interesting. I know you talked to Jonas, and I think the more that you learn about our industry, you'll realize why people don't leave our industry. Most of the people in this industry space started as a summer job when they were 18, and now they're 60 and don't know how they got there, and they just never leave, or they'll leave for a year and they come back. Um,
Yeah.
I've been told we're unique from people that have come from other industries because we all talk together, we all work together. Again, we'll show up to our big industry events, and I'm with my direct competitors, and we're all just having a great time and talking about what we can do and how we can better each
Yeah.
other, because that's what our whole goal is in terms of what we can do what is that? The rising tide lifts all ships. That's
Yep.
our whole belief.
That's what I appreciate about the blue collar space. You guys don't really like hide, trade secrets from each other. And I'll tell you, when I was a financial advisor, I went to stuff like that all the time, and like there was nothing new under the sun. Everybody else has already tried something, right? And you just latch on to someone who's doing something well, and you just kind of steal his ideas. What
Absolutely.
I haven't found is with my virtual assistant staffing company, I can't find anything like that. And I would kill for it. I literally would kill for a good mastermind with people that own these companies. And I don't, it doesn't exist. So if you know of one, let me know, because I would kill to pick someone's brain on this stuff, because I think we could be growing a lot faster than we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have someone I can put you in contact with, at least have some
Yeah.
discussions with.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thanks.